The transition toward greener maritime practice is therefore not a distant policy discussion for us. It is practical, technical, and economic reality that affects our shipyard, our engineers, our academic institutions, and our future professionals. The global maritime sector is undergoing one of the most significant transformations in its history. Decarbonization targets, alternative fuels, hybrid propulsion system, digital optimization, and new regulatory frameworks are reshaping the way vessels are designed, reshaping the way of vessels are designed, built, and operated. As engineer, we are at the center of this transformation. The Institute of Engineers India has always stood for professional excellence, technical advancement, and nation building. Through programs like today's webinar, we aim to create platforms where industry leaders, academicians, and practitioners can exchange ideas, debate solutions, and guide the next generation of engineers. I extend my sincere gratitude to the chairman of the Marine Engine Division Board for his presence and continued support, to our distinguished panels for sharing their expertise, and to all participants who have taken the time to join us. I am confident that today's deliberations will provide valuable insight and practical perspective on navigating the path towards sustainable maritime growth. In this webinar, our Division Board Chairman, Captain Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar, will address us, and he is the Chairman, MRDB Institution of India, and Chairman, Center Coordination Committee of Institution of Engineers India, and former Vice President of the Institution of Marine Engineers India, and is a multifaceted personality. Captain was the engineering officer on board INS Chakra, the first nuclear submarine operated by the Indian Navy. He participated in the IPKF operations in Sri Lanka. He is credited with the national record of winning the Prime Minister's trophy for 3 consecutive years. The captain has graduated degree in Science and Engineering, Master degree in Engineering and Management, and PhD from Birla Institute of Technology. He is a gold medalist from NCDC, Government of India, MHA Nagpur. He was the commissioning officer in charge of Kursara Submarine Museum, the unique engineering marvel. The captain was commanded by the Flag Officer, Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Naval Command, twice for his professional acumen, dedication, and achievement. Mr. Bhandarkar is actively associated with many professional and social institutions. He is a board member of the Asia Pacific Industrial Engineering and Management Society, Japan, and fellow of IEOM USA. Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar was an academic consultant for the National Institute of Industrial Engineering, Mumbai, and published 1 book, 2 edited books, and 3 books chapters, about 40 proceedings, and several papers in reputed international journals, conference, etc. He was associated editor with managing editor of IE Journal for 11 years, and presently contributing as area editor of IEMS Journal, published by the Korean Institute of Industrial Engineers. He has been awarded 21 international and 12 national awards, recognitions. Many awards are instituted in the Commander Dr. Bhandarkar. Some of the awards are as follows. Commander Bhandarkar Visionary Leadership Award for CEO and CMDS, and Commander Bhandarkar Award for the first merit in Industrial Bar Production Engineering students of VJTA and Sorry for some disturbances. With this introduction, and on behalf of Institution of Engineers India, I extend warm welcome to Captain Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar, Chairman MRDB, Institution of Engineers India, to this webinar. Welcome, sir. And Engineer Deepak Mohan is the convener of this webinar, and he will introduce panelists and moderator to us. Our convener and Mr. Deepak is Director Technical at Mattop Technical Services Private Limited, Kochi, with over 3.5 decades of experience across ship operations, shipbuilding, dredges, offshore vessels, and shipyard project execution. A Class 1 marine engineer, his career includes senior roles with P&O Bulk Carriers, Great Offshore, MA Diesel India, and Temma Shipyards. He has delivered multiple DP class offshore vessels, led charge multidisciplinary shipyard teams, and currently works extensively in marine technical consultancy. And on behalf of IEA, I extend warm welcome to Engineer Deepak Mohan. Dr. K. Simon is the moderator of this webinar, and he has served extensively in ship operations, maritime regulations, and maritime education. He spent over a decade with the Shipping Corporation of India, including 5 years as chief engineer, and later rose to the position of Senior Deputy Director General Technical at the Directorate of Shipping. He holds PhD in Marine Engineering Training, an MBA, and a postgraduate degree from the World Maritime University, Sweden. He has also served for 12 years as Director of the Kunyali Marikar School of Marine Engineering, KUSAT, and is currently Director of Albertian Marine Institute at Kochi. On behalf of Institute of Engineers India and all other present here, I welcome Dr. K. A. Simon. Welcome you, sir. And our panelists are Engineer Paul Varid Vatatara, Engineer K. Krishnan, and Dr. P.V. Shashikumar. Engineer Paul Varid Vatatara is an extra first-class marine engineer with wide-ranging experience spanning ship operations, ship management, ports regulation, and maritime mediation. He has served as Deputy Director General Technical at the Directorate General of Shipping as Chief Engineer and Technical Superintendent with the leading international ship management companies and as engineer in charge at Cochin Ports. He currently serves as Director of Kunyali Marikar School of Marine Engineering at KUSAT and is a governing council member of Institution of Engineers India. On behalf of IEA, I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. And next panelist is Engineer K. Krishnan. K. Krishnan, and he is actively involved with IEA and IMEA, and Engineer Krishnan is a senior chief marine engineer with over 6 decades of experience across ship operations, shipbuilding, ship repair, and marine engineering training. And on behalf of Institute of Engineers and all present here, I welcome you, sir, K. Krishnan, sir, to this webinar. And next panelist is Dr. Shashikumar PV, is a visiting professor at Indian Maritime University and external examiner MMD Kochi, and he is a senior maritime professional with over 50 years of experience across ship operations, ports, dredging projects, ship classification, marine insurance, academia, and maritime law. On behalf of IEA, I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. Engineer Jayamon Jacob, Honorary Secretary of Kochi Local Center, who is the Nodal Officer of Center of Excellence of Center of Excellence AI, ML and Robotics of APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Kerala to this webinar. I welcome Engineer Jaimon Jacob and I welcome Sudeep Chakravarti and others from headquarters to this webinar. And with this web, I warmly welcome you all once again and wish the webinar a great success. Thanks a lot, sir.
കൺവീനർ പറയാണ്ടിരിക്കാണ് ഇത് പറഞ്ഞു.
Sir, Bandarkar sir, to address.
Right, sir. Respected K.S. Babu, sir, Chairman, very vibrant coaching local chapter, our Guru, friend, philosopher, Dr. K. Simon, sir, Dr. Shashi, sir, Dr. Krishnan, sir, I can see some of my friend, our council member, G. Madhu, sir, my friend N. Rajan, sir, our former chairman of Kerala chapter, Vijay Chandra Nair, sir, Deepak Mohan ji, Usha ma'am, Surya Narayana ji, very warm good afternoon to you all. I am very happy that in this year, Kerala chapter has taken the lead to start webinar, and that too after successful two-day event of Commerce by Marine Fraternity at Cochin. We have all attended and it was a wonderful event, and followed by within a month this seminar is huge. The dedication for the people at Kerala Kochi Local Center to promote the knowledge and education in the field of marine engineering. Today, we are discussing very vibrant and important topic which is related to sustainability, and the distinguished moderator and faculty, they will do the wonder. So without taking your much of the time, I would like to bring two issues. The first thing, as a marine engineer, as a practitioner of marine engineering, operation, maintenance, and other aspects, we have to really see thoroughly from the reality angle of it. We have to ensure whether on the pretext of green energy and green revolution, whether the developed countries, they are trying to promote their goods, they are trying to promote jobs for their population, or they have to really trying to sell. Because recently we know one of the strong player under the leadership of Mr. Trump, he has moved out of 66 global institution And there is also talk, and presently there is a bit of standstill at IMO, how much we have to go ahead with this green energy and green initiative, because the major country America is not supporting that. In a COP, that is a Conference of Parties held in Dubai, the president of that conference himself doubted about the discontinuance of diesel or fossil fuels. We can imagine. And you, as you know, you are a learned person. Most of the manuals are aimed at marketing gimmicks of the developing countries. So we have to keep that angle also. But if humanity has to survive, if we have to be sustainable and clean life, the green fuel, the sustainable initiative is the need of the day. I wish a great success to this webinar. And as a chairman of MRDB, I assure that in couple of days we shall be having many more such events under the aegis of MRDB IEI. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me chance to share few of my ideas. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
I invite Engineer Deepak Mohan, convener of this webinar session, to introduce moderator and the panelists.
I think Mr. Simon can talk. Take over. Simon? Yes, Mr. Simon, you can ask questions. Go ahead, Simon. What's happening? I think Simon should take a.
It seems our convener, Engineer Deepak Mohan, is held up somewhere or is not available.
He maybe has some difficulties in system. Simon can continue, I suppose.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Engineer Babu Case, Chairman of Kochi Local Center. Commander Bhaskar Bhandarkar, Chairman of Division Board of IEI Marine Engineering. Engineer Deepak Mohan in absentia. Our panelists, Mr. Paul Barit Patatra, Director of Kunyali Marika School of Marine Engineering, Cochin University. Second panelist, senior most veteran member, Sri K. Krishnan. The third panelist, Professor Dr. Shashikumar PV, visiting professor of Indian Maritime University. Engineer Jaimon Jacob, our Honorary Secretary of Kochi Local Center. Participants of this seminar, officials from headquarters of Institution of Engineers India, students and dear friends. This is probably the first time Institution of Engineers India, by the division of Institute of Marine Engineers, is organizing a digital seminar of this nature on a current topic is being organized. We all keep hearing about green shipping. Not only in shipping, in all walks of life, you are hearing about green things. Even you must have heard of probably the green card of US. And when you come to shipping, we talk about green ships, green ports, green fuels, green technology, even green financing, green skill development, green capacity building, and so on. Everything green. But it's of great interest to know that we in India had the green systems much earlier. It's nothing new to us. I mean shipping. So those people who are present here, who may know a little bit of history of shipping, may recall that we had green shipping in India even before Christ. 3,000 years before Christ, that means 3000 BC, we had a flourishing shipping business, and that too green shipping in India. It may be something unheard for the students present here with us. Our ancient books of Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, these ancient records of human race depict, inter alia, the shipping scenario of ancient India. Maritime history, as I said before, dates back to 3,000 years before Christ. Indians traded those days with Arabia, Egypt, Africa, Rome, and all that, as per records, by vessels built in India with teak wood. Ancient Sanskrit manuscript by name Yukti Kalpataru, compiled by Bhoja Narapati, stands testimony to what I said just now. You'll be surprised to know that we had even classification societies in India. You may probably have heard of Lloyd's Register of Shipping, Bureau Veritas, and so on, who claims to be the pioneers in classification society. But the reality, I must say, is that we here in India had some system, some sort of classification of ships even before Christ. I used to make claims about it, even in foreign universities, and which is true, although that is not welcomed by the established classification societies of the world. The classification societies of the world, they have formed a close club by name IACS, to which now we Indians have gone into. But they used to claim that they are the only ones who deals with classification of ships. the recorded manuscript mentions about different classes of ships those days by name Samanya. These are recorded. Samanya, Vishesha, which simply means in Sanskrit, Samanya means ordinary ship. Vishesha means something special. Now you have to make a guess. Vishesha ship must be meant for overseas trip, international voyages to Rome and Arabia and all that. And probably the Samanya ship, ordinary ship, is meant for coastal run. Maybe, that's a guesswork. But this Vishesha ship was built of good quality teak wood, which could stand the vagaries of the sea and sail across the ocean to the distant lands. That's not the end of it. We even had classification of ships by name Dirgha. Dirgha, we, particularly people of Kerala, will know. In Sanskrit, it means long ship. Then Unnata ship, something high. Maybe the freeboard is high. So these were the, I would like to call these as the classification of ships. Now, talking about green ship, these were all sailing vessels, and there was absolutely no pollution in the operation of these vessels. That is why I claim that our shipping those days was completely green and something sustainable. But you know, it did not last long for various reasons. There was no fuel consumption those days. There is no question of emissions from ships. Everything was eco-friendly. Now, you can see that everything in life, everything in the world is cyclic in nature. Those green shipping paved way to industrialization, and mechanized vessels came in use. And then, in those days, nobody thought about emissions from the ship or damage done to the environment or atmosphere. There was no check on it. I'm in shipping for the last 50 years, more than 50 years. And I've seen, as a junior engineer in the early 70s, to be precise, 1971, 72, those days, I've seen that ships were operating on diesel engine. Of course, I've sailed on steamship too. There again, consumption of oil was there very much. Now, those days, the only criteria for the efficiency of operation of ship is to only reduce the fuel consumption. And there was a measure of fuel consumed, scientific thing, like grams per bhp per hour. That used to be the consumption rate those days. And those days, I still remember, we used to have consumption of about 150 grams per bhp per hour. The research was going on to reduce the consumption for the sake of saving money to buy the fuel. Atmospheric pollution was, no one was thinking about it. That was going on. Nobody bothered about pumping out oil into the sea or giving emissions to the atmosphere or greenhouse gas and whatnot. There was no thinking about it. The only thought those days was to reduce the consumption of fuel. And those days, I still remember, there were two main manufacturers of main engines in the world. Those were MAN engine and Sulzer. They were competing with each other those days to reduce the fuel consumption. And they could bring down the fuel consumption from 150 grams per bhp per hour to even 120 grams per bhp per hour. And they were very proud of this achievement. But mind you, at that time, there was no thought about SOx and NOx and whatnot. There was no thought about even slip or greenhouse gases. That is not considered. That's not considered harmful. What I mean to say is that over the years, things have changed. Now we are thinking about NOx. How that NOx is very harmful to the atmosphere. It makes holes in the ozone layer. So what has to be done? You have to reduce the efficiency of the engine in order to achieve environment protection. In other words, we are now doing exhaust gas recirculation. Can you believe that we are recirculating exhaust gas? The smoke is being taken and put back to the inlet, through the inlet manifold to the engine. Why? Because then you will reduce the efficiency of the engine and NOx production will be comparatively less. So we have come to that now. That means what we thought right in the 1970s is not right now. That's why I said everything is cyclic. Today's solution or yesterday's problem is solved today, but today's solution could be a problem again tomorrow. So we don't know. We don't know what is good for us. That is why I'm saying things are going cyclic in nature. We don't know. We are not aware of what is good for us. However, we can only apply our mind to solve the issue of environment degradation by introduction of green ships and green fuel and all that. One more small point I would like to say here in this context, that when the ship is burning fuel, for example, one of my ships, in my as a young chief engineer, I've seen, we were consuming about 76 tons of fuel to run the ship. And this consumption is only by the main engine. When you are consuming 76 tons of fuel a day, can you believe that we are making about 220 tons of CO2 every day? We are doing so much of damage to the ship, to the environment. 220 tons, people won't believe. In fact, about 10 years ago, I found out, I realized that the ship's engines are making a lot of emissions. And those days IMO was just beginning to think about these things. And I used to announce this I used to talk about this. I used to discuss this matter with my colleagues, faculty colleagues in the Kunyani Marikar School of Marine Engineering. When I said one of my ships was making about more than 200 tons of CO2 a day, nobody believed me. Even marine engineers did not believe. How can it be? The fuel is in liquid state, 70 tons, and you are burning it. Then how can it be 220 tons of gas? Gas is, after all, gas. How is it possible? How can the weight of the smoke increase from what it was when it was in the liquid state? You must understand. I used to explain those days. It's not so. Carbon is getting combined with oxygen, and the atomic weight of oxygen is very higher than compared to carbon. So, two elements of carbon combines with, elements of oxygen combines with CO2, C, carbon, and the mass increases. Anyway, it took time for people to realize that the engine was making so much of damage to the environment. Even these days, many are still not aware as to how much damage the ship's machines are making or engines are making to the environment. Now again, coming to this part, but we cannot just sit idle and then watch the degradation of environment. Therefore, we must put a stop to it. We must regulate it. We should develop. At the same time, we should regulate matters so that next generation will not suffer. Talking about this pollution, while in length I was talking about that, but we must realize that the damage or the emission produced by shipping in general is only 3% of the total emissions coming out of industries of the world. So although we are only 3%, although we are doing only 3% damage, IMO in turn is proactive, and we are still putting a control on this. There are a lot of regulatory activities introduced during the course of the discussion. We'll come across those things. We have three eminent panelists today with us. They will throw more light into what I was trying to say. And we are left with just 1 hour and 15 minutes or so. Therefore, I would suggest that the speakers may talk about what they have to say in just 10 to 15 minutes time. So we'll have one round of discussion. I'll put some questions to the panelists. After the first round, we'll continue the subsequent rounds. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. We'll continue with subsequent rounds. Therefore, I would request my panelists to take least time possible, and answer the areas where you are specializing. Now, the first panelist is Mr. V.V. Paul. He has already been introduced. I don't need to introduce him again. He was an MMD surveyor, the principal officer acting, and then he's an extra first-class marine engineer. And presently he is working as the director of Kunyali Marakkar School of Marine Engineering of Cochin University of Science and Technology. And very well experienced, very well exposed. He was an examiner for many years. He's thorough with all his topics. He will be talking about green ports. Green ports. As I was mentioning at the beginning, there are various areas to be covered in the green technology. So I would request him to talk about the background of green port concept, and the present status regarding the green ports in Indian Ports Act. I've just combined a few things. You can take your own time and then explain. If something is missing in the next 10 to 15 minutes time, in the subsequent rounds we'll cover it. Please go ahead. Over to Mr. V.V. Paul.
Thank you, Simon sir, for your kind introduction. Fantastic introduction. Good evening to all. I am going to talk about green port sector now. As all of us know, the country's maritime sector plays a crucial role in the overall trade, as 90% share of goods are transported through ships using port facilities. The green port landscape in India is heavily influenced by the combination of global commitments, especially UNFCCC-led climate goals and IMO regulations, which have been translated into national actionable policies such as Harit Sagar Green Port Guidelines 2023 and Maritime India Vision 2030 and Amritkal Vision 2047. Here, India's pledge is an important thing. India has pledged in UNFCCC the nationally determined contributions, which is known as Pancha Amrit. That is 5 points are there. We'll see that. Here, the first thing is net zero by our commitment. That is net zero by 2070. We will achieve net zero emission by 2070. And by the time we will have 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel capacity and use 50% renewable energy, reduce carbon intensity, 1 billion tons less emissions by 2030. The IMO strategy to achieve net zero GHG emission from international shipping by or around 2050 has forced Indian ports to upgrade infrastructure, especially under MARPOL, Annex 6, and Carbon Intensity Indicator framework. Let's see what are the demands. Indian ports are implementing ship-to-shore power with a target to cover all EXIM vessels by 2025. The Green Tug Transition Program is targeting to replace diesel-powered craft with electric, green ammonia, methanol-powered ones. Green incentive scheme, the ports like Marmagova have adopted Haritshri green incentive scheme for ships, utilizing environmental ship index to provide priority berthing or reduced dues for compliant vessels. Here, our government is so committed that Indian government has launched a comprehensive strategic plan to convert all major ports into green ports. The Indian Ports Act 2025, replacing the old 1908 Act, mandates stringent green port initiative to achieve sustainable, eco-friendly operations. The Director General of Shipping and the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways have established comprehensive green port guidelines primarily under Harit Sagar Green Port Guidelines 2023. These guidelines align the Maritime India Vision MIV 2030 and Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047. The key components of Harit Sagar guidelines. The Harit Sagar Guidelines 2023 provides a framework for adopting eco-friendly technologies, including renewable energy and waste management. Maritime Amritkal Vision 2047, a comprehensive roadmap aiming for 60% renewable energy by 2030 and 90% by 2047. Decarbonization targets plan to reduce emission intensity per ton cargo by 30% by 2030 and 70% by 2047. Green Initiative, development of green hydrogen hubs, Kandla, Paradip, and Tuticorin, the Green Tug Transition Program, and adoption of shore-to-ship power. Sustainability and technology, focus 100% wastewater reuse, recycling dredged material, and using Sagar Setu for digital efficiency. Let us see the position of the ports of real scenario what we have achieved. Key green ports in India, Marmagava Port, recognized as a leader, first green port adopting solar power electrification and green hydrogen technology under National Green Hydrogen Mission. The 3 megawatt solar power plant has installed specifically to cover 100% port's energy consumption. First accredited green port, MPA, was declared as the first accredited green port in India under Green Port Certification Program, as announced in September 2025. The second port is VO Chidambaram Port, Tuticorin, the major green hydrogen hub. It has rooftop solar capacity of 1.04 megawatt and is developing green hydrogen and methanol bunkering facilities. VOC is the first Indian port to produce green hydrogen for on-site use. It is powering street lights and EV charging stations. The port has surpassed 1 megawatt in rooftop solar capacity and operates 2 megawatt of wind power with plans for additional wind installations. Now, the third one is Deen Dayal Port Authority, Kandla, Gujarat. DPA commissioned its first 1 megawatt Make in India green hydrogen plant in July 2025, which produces 140 tons annually, with plans to scale up to 10 megawatt. DPA is pioneering the use of green tugs with plans to convert existing diesel-powered tugs into zero-emission vessels. DPA is also the first Indian major port install wind power project. The port has 20 megawatt of combined wind solar capacity as on 2025. Next one, Port Authority, Paradip Port Authority, designated as a green hydrogen hub. It has a 10 megawatt solar power plant and is implementing rail line electrification. PPA has been identified by the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways to be developed as a green hydrogen hub. The central government has approved rupees 797 crore dedicated green hydrogen ammonia terminal with 4 million ton per annum capacity to handle clean energy exports. PPA has commissioned 10 megawatt solar power plant contributing to greening of its energy consumption. Another port is Jawaharlal Nehru Port, developing a smart and green port with solar power plant of 4 million megawatt and participating in green tug projects. JNPA has achieved renewable energy capacity of 45.67 megawatt. It aimed to save approximately 62,000 tons annually. So Simon sir was talking about this generation of CO2. So here 62,000 tons of CO2 annually.
Yes.
The port is actively transition. Sir, have you said something, sir?
No. Continue.
Oh,
Continue.
All right, sir.
For another.
The port
5 minutes.
is actively transitioning from diesel-operated electric-powered container handling equipment, including rail-mounted quarry trains, rubber-tired gantry trains, etc. Around 1,147 hectares of total port area is under green cover. Another green port is a New Mangalore Port. The port has achieved status of fully solar-powered port, operates 5.2 megawatt plant, reducing carbon footprint by over 29,700 tons. So these are the green initiative of the of our government of India, and whatever we are achieved till 2025 we have covered, and government is ready to finance any green initiative and made a lot of plans for the financing part. I am stopping here. Over
Thank
to
you.
Simon sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. You have definitely thrown light to the details of the green ports, and particularly with decarbonization. What is most interesting is, decarbonization has acquired a different meaning altogether. For marine engineers, decarbonization means those days, particularly with seniors like Mr. Krishnan, it means that we open during arrival at port, we open the unit, remove the cylinder head, pull out the piston, clean everything, and get rid of all carbon deposits, box it back, and that's decarbonization. Now decarbonization has acquired a wider meaning altogether. You are trying to remove carbon not only from the parts of the engine, but you are trying to remove or separate out the carbon from this earth. That's the meaning of decarbonization. We are even doing carbon sequestration and trying to use it elsewhere. Okay, with that, let's now move on. Let's get more details. Next speaker or next panelist is none other than our senior most marine engineer here, Mr. Krishnan. A brief thing about him is Krishnan is a live wire, I would say, behind the activities of Institution of Engineers, Institute of Marine Engineers, Mariner Society, and so on. He's deeply involved in all these activities. He's a senior marine engineer, as I was saying, with over 6 decades of experience in the field of marine engineering. He has been a shipbuilder, ship repair. I mean, he was working for all those organizations, ship repair and maritime training. He worked in Cochin Port Trust. He worked in Cochin Shipyard, and he was also a teacher, a maritime teacher in Cochin University, and so on. He is a recipient of R.L. Jain Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award from the Institute of Marine Engineers, India, and a Lifetime Achievement Award awardee from the Institution of Engineers for his distinguished contribution in the field of marine engineering. With these few words, I would request him to dwell upon the topic of marine engineering, that is alternate fuels and energy transition. You all know that one solution to the problem, not full solution, but partial solution to the problem of fossil fuel is to look for alternate fuels. And that is what is posing us great challenges as well as opportunities. Over to Mr. Krishnan. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Simon, for all the good words. And namaskar and very good evening to all. Well, my subject for discussion now today is alternative fuel and energy transition, particularly to referring to the net zero framework.
You can concentrate more on IMO net zero framework and global
framework and global carbon tax pricing and
yes,
the immediate future of fueling of ships. That is what I am going to discuss here now. Well, we all know that the carbon emission by the shipping is only about 3% only. So what is United Nations want is the global reduction of CO2 or the emission of the greenhouse gases. Then only we can save the earth from all the climate change. However, our topics are limited to the shipping and the marine field. So I talk about the fuel, and that is going to be used in future by our ships or marine craft. Okay, alternative fuel has become essential in the maritime sector in response to the incremental climate change and significant national and international regulations. Many options are now available and is tested and proved in various projects using fuel like methanol. Methanol is CH3OH, that is its formula. So it contains carbon. Ammonia, NH3, biofuel, which is about C2H6O, that is ethanol actually, biofuel. Then the electric propulsions, hydrogen, LNG, and nuclear. These are the clean fuel we are discussing actually. And each one has got its merits and demerits, and they are all considered as clean. So the first phase of IMO net zero target is approaching very fast. We all know it is only 4 years left. By 2030, we had to reduce the greenhouse emission by 30%. And by 2050, it has to come to near net zero or near zero compared to the 2008 baseline. That is the agreement reached in the IMO conventions, the Paris Conventions, 2025. So there is not actually enough time left for retrofitting or constructing a new suitable alternative fuel ships. So the potential alternative for large vessels are, as I feel, is to go for LNG and methanol, which are easily adaptable and exist to existing engines. We don't require much of changes or alteration to the existing engines. And actually, as a matter of fact, some of our LNG carriers are already operating on dual ships. dual fuel. You know, they are using the boil of LNG and running the engines. So for the coastal vessels concerned and in the small craft, we can consider electric propulsion using hydrogen fuel cells. But directly injecting hydrogen is very costly and technology is there though. We have to wait some more time to use hydrogen directly, make and generate it on board and use it. Then only it become economical. So the fuel cells are ideal for that now. Fuel cell which is already in use in shore-based transport sections, and also it is used some of the craft that is built all over the world. About 15 number of ships are now in operating all over the world. And even in India, we have one operating in Ganges water, which is built by Cochin Shipyard. So for your information, the specification of the hydrogen powered built by Cochin Shipyard, I can briefly mention here. It's about 24-meter long catamaran fiberglass boat with a double hull with a capacity to carry about 50 passengers and powered with proton exchange membrane fuel cells of 50 kilowatt hour capacity. It hybrid supported by lithium iron phosphate battery as a buffer and 40 kg of hydrogen gas in 5 cylinders kept at a 300 bar pressure. And that is enough to, that is the endurance is about 8 hours for one voyage for 8 hours. That 5 cylinders is sufficient and the ship can move at an average speed of 7 knots. And the vessel is now operating in Ganges water under inland water navigation, inland water authorities. And there are more ships on the anvil as Cochin Shipyard is concerned in making this hydrogen boat for various purposes, even for water metro in Kochi and all others, and even for there are export orders for it. So hydrogen boat is already on. So we have got already clean fuel that is being used in the small craft. So apart from the, okay, now consider about, apart from all this, we can also reduce the emission of CO2 or reduce the burning of the fossil fuel or marine diesel oil by other methods, something like that. Great circle navigation, which is already been in vogue now. You can take the shortest route as less fuel is burned. Similarly, NOx and SOx control, which is already existing by using SCR plus selective catalytic reduction method and scrubber, we can remove that. Then low speed operation to arrive in port, that is just in time arrival. Thereby, you don't have to wait in anchorage and burn the diesel generator running and burn all the fossil fuel. So all these are the method that is existing being used even now for reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. And change over the shore power. Another thing is becoming essential is changing over to shore power. When the ship comes to port, we know that there are areas, special areas where ships are not supposed to use fuel.
Yeah, it's also known as
0.1.
yeah.
Because such cases in places in India, North Pole and American coast and various areas or other special areas are earmarked. So you can use that time the port power, shore power, which is green by again, it is not made by the fossil fuel. The shore power is made by solar and wind power. The electricity is created by solar and wind power, which is considered as a clean fuel, clean power. So then again, you can also
cold ironing, you know, it's called. It's being used. It's being widely done now in Europe and all that.
Done and we can
cold ironing.
Those vessels, those countries, you cannot afford to change over immediately because of the high cost of this of the new fuel. They can still continue with this and use wind power at sea. That is also some ships have been already in practice, put in use. At sea, when you have the wind power is available, you run on the sail, and so the fuel is used. The minimum fuel is used, and when it is required. So these are the methods by which that I feel immediately by 2030 we can think of reducing at least 30 to 40% of the carbon emissions from the ship's engine exhaust. Thank you, Dr. Simon. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnan, Engineer Krishnan, for throwing light into various aspects of fuel saving. We have, we'll see more in the next round of questions. As of now, we'll move on to the next panelist, Dr. Professor P.V. Shashikumar. He'll be talking about a different area altogether. He'll be talking about digitalization and smart shipping. A brief about Professor Shashikumar. He is a senior maritime professional with over 50 years of experience across ship operation. Ports, he has worked for dredgers, classification societies, insurance companies, academics. In fact, he was my colleague in the Kunyali Marikal School of Marine Engineering. He's an expert on maritime law. He is different from the rest of the marine engineers in the sense that not only that he is a marine engineer, he has very high qualifications in that. Apart from that, he is a lawyer. Hold your breath. He is a lawyer, and that too, not an ordinary lawyer, maritime lawyer with LLB and LLM. And all this he has done after his qualifications in the and competency in marine engineering and after completing his course in mechanical engineering. He has received Platinum Jubilee Celebration Award presented by Institution of Engineers at the 24th National Convention of Marine Engineers held at Bangalore in the year 2010. And with this brief introduction, let me request Dr. P.V. Shashikumar to talk about digitalization. If I may put a question to him, I would request him to start with how digitalization contributes to green shipping. Ultimately, we're into the topic of green shipping, green port, and green everything green. So how this digitalization will contribute towards achievement of our target. That's my request to him to concentrate on. Take your time in this round, and whatever balance is remaining, we'll have it in the next round. Take your time for about 10 to 15 minutes. Please go ahead. Over to you. You are not audible. Please unmute and talk. Dr. Shashikumar, please unmute.
Thank you, Dr. Simon, for having me in the panel, and good afternoon to all the participants. It's a pleasure to be a part of this panel. Very nice. And topic given to me is also fresh and really relevant one actually. As we all know, all mariners know that shipping industry plays a very pivotal role in the global economy, handling over 90% of the world trade. As Dr. Simon already said, we marine engineers are familiar with the decarbonization of main engines and auxiliary engines. But now it's time, it's urgent need for decarbonization of the shipping industry as such, not the shipping engines or anything. That's what we are now concentrating actually by examining innovative technologies, regulatory frameworks, and the potential of artificial intelligence, IoT, etc., to enhance the operational efficiencies. By decarbonization means actually in shipping decarbonization or the decarbonization of shipping means it is it involves rather reducing the carbon footprint, which everybody is talking about nowadays, reducing the carbon footprint by various sustainable practices, which already one or two things already been discussed, actually green port and green ships and alternative fuels and everything. So various sustainable practices are available in this reducing the carbon footprint. So I am pointing on to the digitalization. How does it affect this decarbonization or making into a good green shipping activities? So the digitalization is mainly interested in or focused on optimizing the vessel operations, reducing the fuel consumption, and enhancing efficiency through data-driven technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, and blockchain. Key impacts include the optimized routing of the ships to save the fuel, predictive maintenance for engine efficiency, improved port logistics, and real-time emission monitoring, as we were talking about emission CO2 going out of the engine or other emissions also. So emission, real track monitoring of the emissions, and these tools help the industry to meet the environmental regulation set up by the IMO. That is a final goal. And artificial intelligence, actually, all of us know it has become very everybody wants to use this in all the type of work and industry. So let me little bit more concentrate on that. Actually, AI can optimize the maritime operations through advanced data analytics and machine learning models that predict the most efficient routes and speeds required for a particular ship. By analyzing the historical data, weather conditions also, and sea currents, etc., AI algorithms can recommend optimal navigation routes also that minimize the fuel consumption and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. This route optimization not only cuts the operational costs but also diminishes the environmental impact of the shipping activities. AI again enhances the maintenance of the ship machinery by predicting the failures even before they occur. Using sensors, IoT sensors, and data analytics, AI monitors the condition of the engines and other crucial equipment in real-time basis, actually, identifying patterns that precede the breakdowns. This predictive maintenance approach ensures that parts are replaced or repaired at the time of optimal time, which maximizes the efficiency, extends the lifespan of the machinery, and reduces unnecessary emissions caused by inefficient engine performance. Again, AI-driven energy management system can significantly improve the energy efficiency of the ships. We have a lot of regulations are there for energy efficiency and all that. So AI can interfere in this and can improve the energy efficiency. These systems analyze the energy usage patterns on board the vessels and adjust the operations automatically to reduce energy wastage. For instance, AI can control lighting, heating, air conditioning systems used or based on the accuracy and weather conditions, thus decreasing the carbon footprint. The carbon footprint is not only going from the ships, all activities nowadays, when you are calculating the carbon footprint, all these activities are also to be taken into account. So that's decreasing the carbon footprint of these large vessels, especially. The development of autonomous or unmanned ships is another area where AI is expected to make a very significant impact. Mass maritime automation or the mass surface
Autonomous.
ships, autonomous, yes, maritime surface ships or IMO is really making a code. Many classification societies have already made guidelines, etc. IMO himself, IMO itself is making a code for that. It's already on the way, actually. These vessels, guided by AI and machine learning, could operate both optimal efficiency and minimal human intervention. That is most important. They were divided into 5 levels and all that. This mass system classification society already made the guidelines, ensuring precise adherence to the most fuel efficient speeds and routes. The reduced need for crew accommodation and support systems further lowers the weight and fuel requirements of the ship, enhancing the environmental performance in totality. AI also facilitates the integration of renewable energy sources, if at all we are using other sources like solar, wind power, various other sources, integrating all these things, AI can do that into the maritime sector. By predicting energy generation patterns from these sources, AI systems can manage the balance between the traditional and the renewable energy sources effectively. This ensures that ships utilize the maximum amount of clean energy available, thereby reducing the reliance on the fossil fuels. Because we have to come to that point now. As international regulations on emissions become stricter, AI helped shipping companies comply with all these regulations through accurate tracking and reporting the emission data. There are various sources of reporting the data. So AI systems can collect data from various sensors on the ship. IoT sensors are there, process this information and generate reports that help the companies monitor their compliance with environmental standards such as those set by International Maritime Organization. The adoption of the AI driven solutions in routing of the ships, maintenance, energy management, and autonomous operations is very crucial for the maritime sector journey towards the decarbonization. And of course, now every coin has got two sides. We have to see whether it is immediately available, possible or not, because of other challenges are also there. Let us just one or two points we can see. High initial investment, definitely. All these infrastructure development for this really requires a lot of money.
Everything boils down to money at the end.
Yes, yes, and in dollars, of course. Cyber security risk again. The
Yeah.
more you go on that, lot of cyber security problems are expected. Data standardization issues, a lot of standard all around. We want all around, all in the all world basis, global basis. So standardization of the issues and crew training. That is the most important thing. Crew, our present crew are still not trained for all these activities. They have to be from bottom to top. They have to be fully trained to meet the requirements and integration challenges. As we said, so many things are to be integrated. So this is one of the important challenges. So I'll just stop it at the moment and give back to Dr.
Thank
Simon.
you. Thank you very much, Dr. P.V. Shashikumar. With the three panelists reacting now, we have got a comprehensive idea about green shipping in general. We have to have a holistic approach. That's very important, particularly in a juncture like this, like ours, where we don't know what is good for us. As I was mentioning at the beginning, people are all confused. People in shipping, I must say, it's my own personal observation. We are a little confused. We mean the industry is in a confused stage. Like the other day, I was listening to a panel discussion like this in a digital manner. And one expert from Norway, after listening to all the other speakers, he was saying that, I will quote him, he says, in shipping, nobody knows nothing. Of course, it is not a good English. Of course, it's grammatically wrong. But then he expressed his view, saying that we don't know things. He said he emphatically mentioned. That's why we concluded the session by saying nobody knows nothing. So that's the present situation in shipping. Anyway, we have time for one more round of questions with the panelists. We are well informed now. Now let's go ahead once again to the panelists. May I now put a pointer to Professor Paul Varit Patatra with regard to the green shipping, of course, green ports. He has mentioned a lot of given a lot of details about green port, but now I am trying to bring him to a point which is again green financing. There is a financing mechanism in existence for green ports. How is that achieved? Can you throw some light? Because we mariners generally we don't care much about finance part. I'm glad that you are there to deal with all these aspects. So can you please throw some light into this area, the green financing of the port? Please go ahead. No, you have to unmute and then speak. Paul, you need to unmute.
Thank you, Simon sir, for the second chance. As I said earlier, we are Green Harit Sagar Green Port Guidelines 2023 and Maritime Amritkal Vision 2023 now set the path and have kept the target. Now, financing this initiative is a channel through private public partnership PPP model, specialized funds like Maritime Development Fund and international partnership. Financing for Indian Green Port Initiative. So much of government funding is in the pipeline. So here, Maritime Development Fund, a 25,000 crore fund focused on investment, decarbonization, and interest incentive for sustainable projects. 25,000 crore fund is allocated as a Maritime Development Fund. Then Shipbuilding Finance Assistance Scheme, SBFAS, a part of 69,725 crore package targeting green tech adoption. Then there is another market-based mechanism, green bonds and loans. Utilization of sovereign green bonds, SEBI regulated ESG. ESG means environmental, social, and governance bond. And loans from institutions like NABFID, that means National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, and IIFCL, India Infrastructure Finance Company for Green Infrastructure. PPP models and shore power and bunkering along with tariff concession for green vessels. Sagarmala program, financial aid for port modernization and coastal community development. Monetization proceeds from National Monetization Pipeline NMP used for port infrastructure upgrading. And the fund, the budgetary allocation and specific projects. Total investment goal is nearly 80 lakh crore is projected for the entire maritime sector, including green shipping under the 2047 vision. The huge money is allocated for green shipping. So we can understand the importance given by Government of India for the green shipping initiatives. Then green hydrogen infrastructure, specific pilot projects include 25 crore facility at Tuticorin Port, Tamil Nadu, and 13 crore facility at Deen Dayal Port, Kandla, along with 42 crore green methanol facility. These are the major financial sources available for upgradation of ports infrastructure and green ports concept envisaged in the Harisagar, yes,
Yeah.
Haritsagar guidelines.
Haris
Thank you,
Sagar
sir.
guidelines.
Yeah,
Okay.
Haritsagar.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your response in the second round. Yes. Your financing of green ports is on the way, but we are not sure as to how at the end everything will result. You know, that the financing mechanism to bring in green ports. See, we have been repeatedly mentioning that by 2050 we'll have zero or near zero carbon percentage compared to what it was in 2008, year 2008. You know, the other day I walked into an office of a senior mariner, and then I told him that you know we need to worry about carbon percentage, all that, and by 2050 we must cut it down to zero or near zero. You know, we have to think of ways and means and all that. His response was very interesting. You know, an elderly senior manager, he says, "Why are you worried so much about it? By 2050, you and me will be dead and gone. You know, so don't worry. You know." Well, of course, that should not be the approach. We have to think about the next generation, even if it is your generation or one generations after that. We have to take care of the environment. So that should not be the approach. Now let's move on. We'll do justice. We'll give a second round question to our senior engineer in the panel. Yeah, it's your turn, Engineer Krishnan, and then I would like to bring in some ideas with regard to the India's green energy transition plan in shipping. Green energy transition. How do you bring about the change? You know, people are resistant to change that comes. You know, but you have to change.
See, yeah, yes, I already said that. My last question was answered. Like, you know, the immediate requirement is to change to clean fuel or to reduce the emissions. Now, I think I'll discuss something more on this.
Yeah, you see, not only the transition part, Government of India has come out with 7 pillars or something. You know,
No, we
to
can
deal
talk
with
about pros and cons also. Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, go through the pros and cons. Like, what are the fuels that are available and what are the benefits and demerits or challenges? That will, I think, that is also we must know, isn't it?
Yeah.
For example, now we have got methanol, and it is made from CO2 and CO, methanol. With the green hydrogen mixed together, we will get this methanol. And actually, it can reduce the emissions by about 85% in case of CO2, NOx, and SOx. Being in the carbon content, it will still produce a CO2, but that is much less than the fossil fuel will make. The methanol combustion is the cleaner. While burning methanol, still produce CO2 and trace of NOx and SOx and PM. And this also we can remove. The CO2 can be captured back. A sequestration method is there.
Carbon sequestration.
Convert it into some other useful chemicals. All these are available. Technology is available now. So that way we can remove the CO2.
I intervene for just a minute. You know, talking about methanol. Methanol is nothing but spirit. You know, but then nobody should be under the impression that you can consume it. You know, like
it is ethyl alcohol.
Methanol.
Yeah. But that is poisonous. Ethyl alcohol people can consume.
That's right.
Ethyl is very dangerous. People does not know which one is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
now, further going on that, by continuing with that, since some of the benefits of the methyl alcohol, I'll say, it is very low emission compared to fossil fuel. See, low cost-wise compared to fossil is much low, and it's got good energy density, caloric value. The safe and easy to handle. It's not that poisonous. Its storage and supply chain is also not difficult. And using methanol in fuel cells, there are solid oxide fuel cells are there. You can use as a fuel cell, which will be so that we can increase the efficiency to over 54% by reducing the total CO2 emitted per kilowatt hour by about 45%. That much reduction is possible if you use a fuel cell. Then challenges, because of its carbon content, it produces carbon dioxide during the combustion process. Even though it is lesser than fossil fuel, the production of CO2 can be again balanced by CO2 capture for atmosphere and recycled back by making methanol with green hydrogen or using renewable energy like solar or wind. So solar or wind energy is the electrical power to convert it to electrolysis purpose, etc. Then green methanol is costly to produce compared to coal-based carbon, because in India we have a lot of coal. We are making the coal-based methanol also. You know that. But coal-based methanol, it's from gasifying high ash coal into synthesis, and then convert it into methanol. But then green one is costlier than coal-based. Then come to LNG. If you take LNG, CH nothing but CH4, carbon and hydrogen bond. Widely available than methanol, it can be used on existing engine with little modifications. Not much, less costly compared to methanol. CO2 produced is 30% less than fossil fuel, and CO2 produced can be recycled or captured or reduced to using electrochemical devices. The main challenge here is the methane slippage. There is something called methane slippage. If
Methane slip.
the combustion is not proper, some of the methane will slip into the atmosphere through the exhaust.
That is much more harmful
That
than.
is dangerous. The methane is more dangerous than CO2 in the greenhouse
correct.
gas. So we have to control this. That is one of the big challenges, drawback. So strategies to reduce methane slip engine design. So what you have to do is engine design improvement is required. You have to adopt high pressure injection, like diesel cycle. So it can reduce the slip in the gas. Then gas is injected directly into the combustion chamber. Then after treatment solutions also there, like installing methane oxidation catalyst, like palladium can oxidize the methane and convert it back into carbon dioxide and water. And CO2 can be again recaptured from the atmosphere. So ultimately, there is result is outlined is clean. There is nothing we are producing harmful gases. Then engine upgradation utilizing the modern engine design, like two-stroke low pressure engines, which can burn LNG and air at the 16 bar to cylinder before the before the combustion starts. So it can reduce the slip by 50%. So technology is available. So direct electrochemical oxidation, this is another method. The electrochemical oxidation can reduce, is low by iron oxide is used here. So it can reduce this controlled oxidation rate can be controlled. And electrochemical membrane reactor. Then we have coming to green ammonia, NH3. It is produced by merging green hydrogen with nitrogen and extracted from the atmosphere, resulting in a substance devoid of carbon. So what are the benefits? Ammonia combustion engine offers a carbon-free, it's a clean, there is no carbon in this NH3, the nitrogen only, covalent. So it's completely carbon-free, sustainable fuel alternative, primarily utilizing dual fuels, which can be used as a dual fuel setup with the diesel and or hydrogen and also the ammonia. It requires after treatment, after treatment to manage NOx and unburned ammonia. So this is what NOx will be produced because of nitrogen content. So that can be again, we have got methods, SCR there to remove that.
Yeah.
Then environmentally friendly. But another thing is ammonia is environment friendly. Ammonia does not release harmful pollutants when burned, marking it
highly
an
toxic.
alternative.
Toxic. That's
High
what
energy density, it has a very high energy density. It can store large amount of energy in a relatively small volume, making it efficient for energy storage. Then carbon-free potential. Then ammonia can be stored and transported using existing infrastructure. So you don't have to spend much more for transporting this and storing it. So these factors, excuse me, these factors make ammonia a promising option for future energy system. But it is in the long-term approach. But there is not enough fuel now to think about for immediate changeover. Can plan for a long-term approach. Then what are the challenges? The extremely toxic, highly corrosive. So we require a comprehensive safety protocol, specialized storage solutions, and innovative engine technology that's currently in developing stage. It has low combustion speed, flame speed is low, and high auto ignition temperature and low energy density. Because of burning ammonia is an internal combustion engine require significant modification to overcome its slow combustion speed. The slow combustion speed makes a problem. So the engine has been modified. Then key challenges again include implementing high pressure direct injection or larger fuel volume. So what you have to do, raise the compression ratio to 1:18 or even higher, sometimes to limit of 1:30, high compression ratio. So the ignition can take place. Key engine modifications were ammonia fuel. Other modifications are fuel injection system. So largest and stronger fuel injectors are needed to deliver higher volumes of ammonia due to its lower energy density. Large size fuel injectors has to be fitted. Then combustion chamber compression ratio, as I mentioned already, it's 18:1, it has to be increased. Then ignition combustion promotion. Ammonia is a difficult to ignite. So what we need a pilot ignition. That is requiring a pilot ignition source such as hydrogen, which can blend with 10 to 20% hydrogen in common to improve the flame speed. So these are the disadvantages of what pros and cons for the ammonia is concerned. Then there are more. Then safety and operation challenges. Safety and operation. As I told you, larger fuel tanks are required because of large volume and required for storing liquid ammonia, which may reduce available cargo space in marine applications. Safety measures due to toxicity, system require enhanced ventilation and leakage monitoring, and especially training of personnel in handling this. Crew training is very important because we are dealing with the dangerous cargo. Then comes to biofuel, for example. Biofuels are made from used cooking or vegetable oils. It can use in existing engine without any major modification. It can be blended with fossil fuel, with a kerosene or petrol. It's a clean and manufacturing, but only thing is producing in large quantity and to getting this, the raw material for biofuel is the problem now yet. So it is going to be very expensive for time being. And the key benefits are, it's very low PM, particulate matters. That is 30 to 45% reduction of CO emissions. And other challenges are, because what are the type of biofuel we use? Fatty acid, we call it fatty acid methyl ether. That is, it's produced from vegetable oil. Then we got hydro-treated vegetables oil are available. Then biomethane obtained by purifying biogas. It is more pure, 95% pure. Now, methane will be created. Less CO2, carbon dioxide is very little, practically nil, because that is removed during the purification process. So biomethane is a good opportunity, good chance to become an alternative fuel, provided that is sufficiently available. The present problem is to get the biomethane, the feedstock. We are finding limited feedstock to produce a large.
Bunkering these things are difficult.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem. Across the globe, we need bunkering facilities.
Then come to green hydrogen. Of course, hydrogen is 100% green, we know. There is no carbon at all in this, and is easily available from water. Water is plenty. So although it serves as the foundation for green methanol and green ammonia, these are made from hydrogen only, methanol and ammonia. In direct application as a marine fuel, in deep sea shipping, it is very remote due to the considerable challenges relating to its storage, transportation, etc. And its cryogenic nature, because it can be kept either in liquid form, which is required cooling to minus temperature minus 162 and below. And either it can be kept as a gas. You have to compress it to about 300 bar, 350 bar pressure, and kept in the gas cylinder. These are two ways we can use it, either gas form or a liquid form. So hydrogen production produced by electrolysis of alkaline water using renewable energy like solar, wind power, or direct, etc., which is of course making direct current. The hydrogen and oxygen are separated by a proton exchange membrane. So it can be easily made. Now what is happening, what is we are considering is in future, the hydrogen can be made on board generation of hydrogen, so that it will not be transported, it has not to be bunkered, etc. Water is available plenty. So you can make a clean water is made, then pure water, of course, then hydrolysis, then hydrogen is generated. And this hydrogen can be, instead of liquefying, you can use direct injection. So that way, the cost will come down, and future, the technology is there, we have only to improve this technology. So future of deep sea vessel, that is ocean going vessel, large vessels, will run on hydrogen. That is my belief.
It will take time.
Yeah, it will need. Immediately we cannot do it because it's so expensive and infrastructure has to be built up. Then other things is so-called boiling off. Then supply chain and bungling capacity at present is very bad, very weak. So low efficiency in electrolysis and high capital investment. These are some of the cons or some of the challenges. Then coming to, well, talking about the shift, what the global government, look at the global shipbuilding book, the order book. If you look at the order book, the number of ships that is ordered now, for example, for information, the total about 2030 ships are now on the order book. Out of which 1930 numbers are actually there are alternative fuels, all thought well. LNG 1260 is LNG vessels, and methanol is about 385 numbers under order, because these are for modification conversion. And LPG 139 ships are under order now. LPG.
Oh, I see.
MCB friendly ships. The ship equipped with use hydrogen is about 52 numbers. The 52 numbers are being built for using hydrogen, and ethane about 55 numbers, ammonia is 45 numbers. So these are the percent, and the biofuel 22 and nuclear is 4. This is the order book is concerned. That means the ship owners of various countries are thinking they are not sure which fuel will be finally used, but they are all trying to try out what are fuel available and how it's going to work. Because lately you may change, because you make a ship, you make all your ships of ammonia. Tomorrow you find out it's not available as a fuel. When you go to another port, then you are stuck. So one has to be very careful. What will be the future? So then only the more and more ship can be adapted to that.
Very nice. Very right.
Then, having said all this, all the technological solutions for achieving green shipping, we already have the technology. The major challenge remains elsewhere. The major challenge is now the faced by for this is in balancing the decarbonization goal with economic, technological, and food security. That is the need of the diverse nations. The core issue is the divide between developed nations, which have the capital and technology to transition, and developing and underdeveloped nations, which rely mainly on the low-cost shipping and face significant hurdles in adopting new technology. So this is the main issue that is happening now. Whenever all the conventions are taking place, the parties will not join, they will not agree each other because of this major issues. Developed and underdeveloped countries. Unless they come together, we cannot achieve all these targets.
That
So
is what
the key challenge to global green shipping, as I said, is high cost and economic disparity.
there's something called CBDR,
Yeah.
which is common but differentiated responsibility.
The balance in food security is very important.
Yeah. Not only that, the parity between the
account for 85% of
rich
global
nations.
trade.
That's right.
Yeah. So including the crucial grains and agricultural products, increased transportation costs threaten to worsen the food security in region reliant to maritime ports. So they are afraid the price cost will go up. The potential solution is also to analyzing this. But they saying all this, a successful global transition requires a just and equitable approach that recognizes the developmental stage at different countries.
Yeah.
Ensuring that sustainability efforts do not come at the expense of developing countries, developing economics. So this is the essence. Without solving this problem, nobody can transition to any fuel or cheaper fuel. We know it is required for the saving the earth from all the greenhouse gases and the global warming. But the countries has to agree, provided all the countries join together, help each other, achieving this project is very, very far away. That is my opinion.
Very right. Very right. Sir, you have brought out a very important point. Actually, there is a disparity between the developed countries and developing nations.
Yes.
You see, when you talk about the environmental degradation, it is the developed nations who have created much problems earlier, for which other countries are suffering. We are suffering because they have enjoyed their times. That is why this CBDR has come.
Sometimes they get out of this, then they come back again. In the convention.
CBDR means the responsibility is common but differentiated responsibility. There are the issue is common.
That
So,
is
all these
the case of ozone depletion substances.
Yeah.
America, they're not ready to come to that stage. They said you want more time. So the
Yeah, okay,
institutions are thinking that way. So what about
Anyway, now let us, we have a few more minutes left. To do
back to
justice
you, Simon.
to all the panelists, I'll put a short question to our third panelist, Dr. P.V. Shashikumar. He has touched upon many aspects of digitalization. You know, there's something that is not covered. I suppose it's the digital twin concept. Sometimes, you know, not only that, there is we have the blockchain system. You know, we engineers talk about only chain block, but just ulta of that, not the chain block, but
Okay.
blockchain. So maybe you can make a small mention about these digital aspects in shipping. Over to Dr. Shashikumar. You can unmute and speak.
Thank you, Dr. Simon, once again for giving me a privilege to share some insights on this topic with all of you. Now, we have already covered a little bit about digitalization. Let me come to the smart shipping side. So smart shipping, we call it, is actually green smart shipping. You can call or smart green shipping, whichever way you want it. You can call. Both are one and the same according to me, because our sole idea is to reduce the decarbonization, carbon footprint actually. So smart shipping is actually a crucial driver for decarbonizing the shipping industry. And some of the points or digitalization points which we have already covered, that is making or helping or contributing to make smart ships, etc. In addition to that, little more things, as Dr. Simon has pointed out, blockchain and paperless trade, that is shipping, required a lot of paperwork. Actually, earlier it was there, but now everything has gone because of the blockchain technology and other IoT and other things. So electronic bill of lading, reduced paperwork, faster clearance of the vessels, improved transparency, all these things have come now because of whenever there is transshipping. Smart port also, yes, Mr. Paul was telling smart port or green port. These are all interlinked, you can say. It has to come all together only, or integration, proper integration is very much required for that. In addition to it, we already seen AI-driven voyage optimization is required for smart ships, definitely. And one more thing is just-in-time port calls. This is something new. Earlier, we used to come earlier, ship used to wait for the anchorage and all that, wasting fuel and time and everything. I am really experienced also in that IOC charter, actually not planning properly, waiting at anchorage many months also together. Then afterward, they will say, go to some other port, simply wasting government money actually without planning properly. So all these type of digitalization will help in just-in-time port calls, allow the ships to adjust their speed to arrive just as the berth becomes available, avoiding the sail fast and then wait. That concept that wastes unnecessarily fuel. Maintenance, again, we talked about in digitalization. All performance monitoring, that is another thing which I would like to point out. Digital tools monitor biofouling, that is buildup of marine life on the hull side, and optimize when to clean it, preventing increased drag, definitely, that causes the higher fuel usage again. So that is another point which this digitalization helps, and that will help the smart shipping operation also. And again, improved data and transparency, which we have already talked about that is real-time emissions, what we are talking about coming out of the ships actually. Smart containers and vessel sensors provide the accurate on real-time basis the data on CO2 emissions, enabling the companies to track their carbon footprint, identify the hotspots wherever it is coming, and meet the regulatory reporting standards. We are just mentioned there are two major reporting standards are there, like IMO's DCS and European
IMO.
Union's ETS. European Union ETS methods are there. These are the two methods we are using. Then the digital twins that we digitalization again is very much required. So digital twins means it is a shipping industry is a virtual real-time replica of a physical vessel, engine or port infrastructure powered by IoT sensors, AI and data analytics. It enables the operators to simulate, predict and optimize the performance, maintenance, and safety. Again, as Krishna Sir was telling, safety is very important by analyzing the data from the physical asset, allowing for, and among other things, predictive maintenance and fuel efficiency and improvements. Then another important aspect of this thing is supply chain, logistic efficiency. Supply green ships and smart ships, ports will definitely shipping will allow or help reduced port congestion because just in time and cargo loading everything is done properly in time. Digitalization of port operations increases the efficiency of the port, reducing the time in port and associated emission from the idling the ships in ports. Mode optimization again, smart logistics operation platforms help analyze the supply chain to choose the most efficient modes of transport. There are various four modes of transport actually, intermodal, multimodal transport, etc. By road, by rail, by inland water, by sea and all that. So it allows actually effective mode of efficient usage of the transport various modes also, switching from one mode to another mode and reducing the overall carbon footprint. This allows the or reduces the overall carbon footprint when you are using multimodal transportation, etc. So cyber then other thing of 1 minute, enhanced real-time visibility and tracking, 360-degree IoT sensors and smart containers provide 360-degree visibility all around actually. Decarbonization and sustainability, smart systems help the industry meet international IMO's targets by optimizing energy use and aiding the transition to cleaner and alternate fuels. We have already heard much about alternate fuels using by or from Krishnan sir, and improved safety and reduced human error. That is something very much required now. That is going to be a very important factor for the mass, that code and all the determining. Autonomous and semi-autonomous ships, mass and AI-based monitoring can reduce the incidents as 80 to 85% of the maritime accidents are attributed to the human error. This also can be reduced actually. Then port operation that we already seen, crew welfare, very important thing in smart shipping. Crew, they have to be trained properly, their operations have to be properly, and enhanced reliable high speed connectivity allows the seafarers to stay in touch with the family, improving mental health of their. These are all very much interconnected, very much required when we talk about the green shipping actually, because these are all connected. Crew is a part of the green shipping actually. So challenges again, what are the important challenges for the green shipping? 1 minute, I guess. High initial investment cost like digitalization, for the deployment of IoT sensors, data analytics platforms to suit all these things. Retrofitting, that is another very important, retrofitting the older vessels to requires very significant capital expenditure. If you want to use another alternative fuel or some other methods, definitely retrofitting may be required. Otherwise, all ships cannot be cancelled all on a sudden. So definitely we have to think about that. So challenging for similar smaller firms, that becomes a very big issue. And cyber security and vulnerabilities in this side. It has maritime cyber incidents have risen up actually to 103% in 2025 as per the records available. And regulatory and legal hurdles again. Technology has outpaced the development of regulatory frameworks, particularly regarding the autonomous ships, insurance, again, everything. If you are going for more and more insurance charges and liability, all the problems will definitely increase. Data interoperability and standardization, lack of standard data formats, again, with all these things will have to be prepared between vendors, various vendors, stakeholders, complicates the integration, different smart patterns, that is siloed data, workforce training the gaps, all the people, and over reliance of automation. Again, it is should not be there. Problem will be there. So that is going to be some of the real challenges of smart shipping.
Okay.
But I feel one thing actually, smart shipping is now it's not a vision. It is not a vision, and it is not even a concept. Although we require changing over to alternate fuels also, that matter is very important because we require a lot of fuel, very big quantity of huge quantity of fuel to run big vessels actually. But even now, I feel smart shipping is not a vision and not even concept also. It is not even a trend followed by innovative technologies and all that. It is going to be a reality. It has to become a reality according to me. That is what is
Absolutely right.
required by consolidating
Absolutely right.
all the things actually. So thank you. I will like to
Thank you.
stop at this unless there is some other
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shashikumar. Now, before I conclude, make my concluding remarks, I would like to throw open the stage to the participants. If anybody has got any question to raise, please raise. The panel members are ready and available. You can shoot your questions from the participant side. Only thing is that you have to identify yourself before putting the question up. Any question from the participants or students, whoever it is? We have an expert panel ready to answer your queries. I suppose there are no queries, no questions. Now, in that case, I would like to go on and then make some concluding remarks or the outcome of the seminar. We have heard 3 speakers talking about various aspects of shipping with regard to the green shipping and sustainable shipping and so on, something that is on the way. So my own observation is that, as repeatedly mentioned by more than one panelist, training of seafarers using alternate fuels and new technologies. That means when you are using new or alternate fuels, you should train the seafarers. After all, they are the ones who are running the ship. You are introducing, say, ammonia as fuel. You should educate the seafarers, the engineers, that this is what is coming in your ship. So it's a toxic item, it's highly corrosive and all that. You have to educate them. So the training is an absolutely essential requirement with regard to the green shipping. Next is comprehensive review of STCW convention and code. You have to revamp STCW code. You all know, marine engineers will definitely know, mariners will know, that the first STCW was introduced in 1978. Subsequently, it came in 95 and then last in Manila in 2010. That means the periodicity is about 10-15 years. So after 2010 Manila, now it's 26, already 16 years have passed. So it is high time that we change or revise the entire STCW because new technology has come. Ladies have come into the scene, women empowerment and all that. So in view of all that, it's time that we change the STCW convention as well as the code, and also in view of the alternate fuels. The third is provision to deal with the fatigue and hours of work of seafarers. See, all these new things are changing or adding the workload of the seafarers. Besides, they're in a field which they are not sure of. It's not conventional ship. So new things are happening. So they should be taken care of. Fatigue has to be given due importance. And also, you must also take into account the developing nations. Generally, the seafarers are from developing nations like India, Philippines, China, and so on. The developed nations, they don't care about how the seafarers are loaded. After all, they are not suffering. So they put the load on the. So we must give consideration to the developing countries. Next is the bunkering facilities of alternate fuels are to be provided. You're saying that ammonia is good and LNG is good, or go for biofuel and all that. But is it available? Can the ship wait for this bunkering bunker to come to the port? We cannot wait. So it has to be provided across the globe. Next is provision for green financing. Where is the money? You have mentioned that new developments, of course, the new changes to the engines and all that, everything will ultimately boil down to finance. And where is the finance? Provision for financing. Retrofitting of existing ships. Repeatedly, we heard from many speakers that retrofitting has to be done. Dual fuel systems and all that. It calls for retrofitting. Again, finance. Innovation in ship design and propulsion system. It's being done. It's an ongoing process. Innovation has to be done. New ideas will have to come. Like air cushioning. So many things are happening to reduce the friction, the hull friction with water. That's why innovation is required. Next is job creation. All these things will call for additional people. So job, we have to think about creation of new jobs. And the last, according to me, is skilling, reskilling, and upskilling of seafarers, existing seafarers, and new seafarers. So these will have to be given additional thrust. With that, I would like to conclude my observations of the entire seminar. I must thank all the panelists. For the three of them, they have done a very good job. They have done deep study and something remarkable, I must say. So my special thanks to Paul Varid Patatra, Director of Kunyali Marika School of Marine Engineering, Mr. K. Krishnan, my guru, and the veteran chief engineer of this part of the country, and of course, my colleague, Dr. P.V. Shashikumar, Professor Dr. P.V. Shashikumar, Professor Dr. Advocate P.V. Shashikumar, for having contributed so much with regard to the digitalization. Thank you very much once again. Over to the organizers.
Thank you, Simon. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Let me invite Jaimon Jacob, Secretary, to express vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. As we are coming to the end of the informative, dynamic, and energetic webinar, on behalf of the Institution of Engineers India Kochi Local Center, I take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to everyone who contributed to the success of today's IA technical webinar on green shipping, challenges and opportunities. First and foremost, we extend our heartfelt thanks to our esteemed panelists for sharing their invaluable knowledge, experience, and practical insights on this highly relevant topic. We are deeply grateful to Engineer Paul Varid Patatra, Director Kunyali Marika School of Marine Engineering, Kusat, Engineer K. Krishnan, former Chief Engineer and Deputy General Manager, Cochin Shipyard Limited, Dr. P.V. Shashikumar, Visiting Professor, Indian Maritime University and External Examiner, MMD, Cochin. Your expert perspectives have greatly enriched our understanding of the challenges, opportunities, and future directions of green shipping. We extend our sincere thanks to our moderator, Dr. K.S. Simon, sir, Director Albert's Maritime Institute, for sharing this session with clarity and professionalism. and for facilitating an engaging and insightful discussions. We would also like to express our sincere special gratitude to Commander Dr. Bhaskar M. Bhandarkar, Chairman, Marine Engineering Division Board IAE, for his inspiring address and valuable guidance. His leadership and vision continue to motivate us to focus on sustainability and innovation in the maritime sector. So we gratefully acknowledge the support and guidance of the Marine Engineering Division Board of IAE, under whose aegis this webinar was organized. Our sincere thanks to the office bearers and organizing committee members of IAE Kochi Local Center for their dedicated efforts in planning and executing this program successfully. We also thank all the participants for joining us today. Your enthusiastic participation, interactions, and questions made this session lively and meaningful. Finally, we acknowledge the efforts of the technical and coordination teams who worked hard behind the scenes to ensure the smooth conduct of this webinar. Once again, thank you all of our valuable time and support. We look forward to your continued association with IAE Kochi Local Center in our future technical programs. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you also.
Sir, Bhaskar sir, let me close this room.
It was very nicely conducted webinar. Congratulations to all faculties on the moderator and organizer. Wonderfully conducted. I hope we will have many such webinars at the Kochi branch. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Let Dr. Smith close.
Thank you, sir. One announcement for the.
Okay, sir.
Sir, please. Sorry for the interruption, sir. Our this e-certification link is open till tomorrow midnight. Those who want to obtain the e-certificate, kindly follow the link and please have the e-certificate. It will be forwarded by Monday. Thank you.
ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് കട്ടായി പോണു ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് എന്തോ ലോ ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് പ്രോബ്ലം എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു ഇത് ഞാൻ ഇത് കൊണ്ടുവരാത്ത കഷ്ടമായി പോകും കഴിഞ്ഞല്ലേ പരിപാടി ക്ലോസ് ചെയ്യട്ടെ എവിടെയായിരുന്നു നമ്മള് ചെറിയ സമയത്ത്
സ്പീക്കറിന് ഇത്ര സൗണ്ട്